former Patriot Hall of Famer now, Rodney Harrison, Football Night in America analyst. Hey, Rod, congrats. That was awesome. I love the speech that you gave.
Thanks, Dan. How are you, man? Good to hear from you, man. It's been too long, brother.
Well, it was nice that the Patriots honored you, and then I started to think, will you ever get one of those gold jackets? How important is that to just be considered for the Hall of Fame?
You talking about the NFL Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Well, Dan, it's a lot of politics that goes behind that situation. And, I look at a guy like Terrell Owens, who I felt like should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the top 2 or 3 receivers that I've ever faced. And, it's something going on. Sometimes I think it's personal, but it's a damn shame the fact that the Patriots have such a dynasty. We get Ty Law in, but there's so many other guys that are so deserving of consideration. Richard Seymour obviously was one of those guys. Willie McGinnis, even a guy like Teddy Bruschi deserves consideration. I feel like myself, I think it's just unfair. And like I said earlier, how do you get punished for being on the greatest dynasty of all time?
But why do you think that the media doesn't recognize some of these defensive players? Because Gronk's going in, Brady's going in, Belichick's going in. I don't know who else. Edelman may be on the fringe of it, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Why haven't we recognized some of these other players, certainly the defensive players with the Patriots?
I think the thing is, Dan, with the Patriots, everyone buys into the team concept, so no one's running around parading, putting themselves above the team. Everyone buys into the team system. And although it's a team concept, people have the tendency to just say, hey, it's Gronk and it's Brady and it's Belichick, which those guys are definitely at the forefront of the dynasty. But there's so many other players that came through. There were unbelievable players that never asked for recognition, took less money, and did whatever they had to do over the course of their career to be part of championship teams. It's highly unfair. Guys should get recognized more, and it's a shame. It's an embarrassment to the league, and I just don't know how you can look at the Patriots team, the last team that went back-to-back championships in 03 and 04, the 07 team, all the success that the Patriots had, 6 championships in 18 years. How could you not recognize more guys? It's unfair, and like I said earlier in the week, I feel like it's a form of discrimination, guys not getting recognized. But thank God Ty Law got recognized because he definitely deserves to go.
But you kind of stumbled upon something here that maybe it's just everybody looks at the Patriots and they're different from anybody else in the NFL. I don't know if, there's an adverse reaction when people talk about, hey, Ben's a Hall of Famer, or Antonio Brown when he was there. We look at different franchises differently than we do the Patriots, it feels like.
Yeah, and like I said before, I mean, it's unfortunate. And, but at the bottom line is I don't need that to validate my career or anything like that. The Patriots honoring me, man, with the fans voting in. They know. I mean, I was against Richard Seymour, Mike Vrabel, 2 really great players. And the fans know. They come out, they see us play, they know the grind, they know all the adversity that we face as individuals, as a team. And, they vote for who they, feel like belongs in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, a lot of other times people follow certain narratives. Oh, the Patriots just a team guy. Those guys that are voting in the Hall of Fame, they don't go back and watch tape. They don't truly go back and watch tape on a lot of these great players to kind of refreshing themselves like, so it's just unfortunate. But at the end of the day, man, I got my championship rings, and I was voted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. I'm ecstatic about that.
Can you believe Brady's turning 42?
You know what? I can. I got a chance to talk with him, and he's loving it, man. Like, he feels good. And think about it, Dan. I was at Patriots training camp practice, and they're walking around. Everybody's walking around. It's not training camp. It's like it's summer camp. These guys they're not practicing. They're barely hitting. Guys are jogging around, looking good in shorts and T-shirts. I mean, like, if I would have played in this day and age, I probably would have played 20 years.
Well, why is it different at training camp now?
Well, I think they're just trying to keep everyone safe and healthy. You heard Julio Jones come out and say, he doesn't even need preseason games. And it's one of those things where, they're trying to keep guys from getting hurt. But what happens is when you abstain from physical contact that much during the preseason, well, when the regular season comes and you start getting hit, that's when guys starting to break down. And I don't know if there's evidence to say that because they're doing less hitting, guys are staying staying healthier longer or they're playing longer. So I don't know about those stats. But at the end of the day, man, it was just weird seeing those guys not really practice 2 a day like we used to practice back in the day.
Rodney Harrison, Football Night in America analyst and Patriots Hall of Famer. You once said that you took Tom Brady for granted, and the quote was, he's like the Michael Jordan of football.
No doubt, man. Just the level of professionalism. Willie McGinnis and myself got a chance to speak to the team, and really just to see him as part of one of those 90 guys in that room, how humble he was, being around him. It's the same Tom Brady. He's hungry. He doesn't look at his accomplishments. He sits back and he just says, wow, I got to continue to work. And we've seen that Tom Brady has gotten better each year. He looks great. He feels like he can play a few more years. So I'm really excited about it.
The top 100 list that the NFL Network put out had Aaron Donald as the number 1 player in the sport. This is voted on by the players. I don't know what the exact criteria is. Is he the best player at his position? Second on the list was Drew Brees.
No.
What do you make of these? Is Aaron Donald the best player in football?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's the best player on the planet. I mean, you see a guy that dominates the way he dominates, consistently beat double teams, open up avenues for his other teammates, and you have to really change your entire offensive game plan to block this guy. A guy that can play inside, outside, left, right. He just wreaks havoc. Every time I watch him on film, I am thoroughly impressed. He's the best football player on the planet, period.
And then you're trying to, Khalil Mack is in there, Patrick Mahomes is in, Brady is in the top 10, but I think he's like 8th or something. It's weird, the list. I hate these lists because I don't know. I guess we're doing what they want us to do, and that's argue a list like this. But the Aaron Donald one, I have no problem with that, with him being the best player in football. It feels like it's such a quarterback-driven league that the quarterbacks should all be in the top 10.
Well, obviously, Patrick Mahomes should be right there after the season. Are we talking about the body of work of your career or the previous season? So it's a lot of different criteria that we truly don't understand as fans. But at the bottom line, the guys that have impressed me most this past season was Aaron Donald, number 1, and Patrick Mahomes, number 2.
You also look at the running back position. We've been talking about this with the holdout with Melvin Gordon, with Ezekiel Elliott, and running backs are the ones that probably need their contracts guaranteed more than anybody, and their careers don't last as long. They're one amongst the lowest of position players paid in the NFL. What happened to that position, Rod?
I don't think it was just ever really a position that was valued. I think the NFL, a lot of coaches and general managers kind of blackballed the position so you wouldn't have to pay guys. And it's unfortunate, but if I'm Ezekiel Elliott, I don't think he's going to win this situation because he has this year left, which is like $3.9 million. He has next year, which is about $9 million, and then they can actually franchise him at probably about $12 or $13 million bucks. So the Cowboys, they don't have to do anything right now at this point. And the fact that the Cowboys had stuck with Ezekiel Elliott through a lot of tough times, and the fact that even his latest incident, he still has the nerve to try to hold out. I would think in good faith he would try to come back, be in training camp, work toward a championship, and hopefully a deal could be done. But I'm with Jerry Jones. I'm not breaking the bank to pay a running back. Ezekiel Elliott is a great player, but at the end of the day, Amari Cooper is far more important in my eyes for them to win a championship because Dak Prescott needs a wide receiver. You're going to pay this kid $30 million a year and just to hand the ball off? No, you need him to be able to have big plays, and we saw the impact that Amari Cooper has. So the priority list has to be Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and then some of those guys on defense, then Ezekiel Elliott, in my belief.
Yeah, see, I thought differently. I thought you got to sell the run. So that play action is the quarterback's best friend, and if you got Zeke there, I'm going to buy into the play action far more than if he's not there, and then that makes Amari Cooper better. So I saw it differently than you did.
No, not necessarily, Dan. I think what you're saying is right, but you can't pay everybody. And why would you go with a guy that potentially has basically 3 years left on his contract and go and pay this guy when you can't trust him? You can't trust the fact that he's coming off his rookie deal and he's getting in all these incidents. Imagine if you give him 60 or 70 million and you guarantee him 40 or 50 million. Can you trust that guy to do the right things on the field, off the field, and everything that encompasses being a highly paid or the highest paid running back in the league? The Cowboys' back is not against the wall. And what he has to do, Jerry Jones has to set a precedent that, hey, you're not going to bully us into contract. Dak Prescott is the priority. Amari Cooper has to be number 2. Then you look at some of the defensive players, Jalen Smith, Byron Jones. Those guys need contracts. You can't just build and spend so much money at the running back position. I'll give you a prime example. Look at the Patriots. The Patriots probably have 4 or 5 running backs that's making $12 or $13 million combined. So why would you go out and spend $14, $15 million on a running back that consistently has gotten in trouble? I love Ezekiel Elliott, but the bottom line is, can the organization trust him with $50 or $60 million? And I don't think they can at this point in time. And that's the reason why I feel like they're not going to make him a priority in these negotiations.
Yeah,
and maybe I'm wrong.
I wouldn't give him a lot of guaranteed money, because I'd say, look, you put yourself in this position. We're going to extend you. We're going to pay you an average of whatever, but guaranteed money is not going. You're going to have to earn your guaranteed money. We're not going to give that to you up front. We're going to make you earn it maybe towards the back end. That would be the way, if I could approach it and say, look, we'll rip up a deal or extend your current deal, but these are the parameters for us. What do you think of that approach?
I don't think Ezekiel Elliott will. These guys, they don't want that year-to-year approach. They want guaranteed money, especially now that you see a guy like Michael Thomas, who's been great off the field, who's been great on the field, who's done all the right things. He's never said anything. All he's done is produce. And when you get a kid like that, it's rare that you find a great player that's a good person off the field. You always have to take care of those players. And $20 million a year, I figured that would be that's a great price for him. I think it's a fair deal. And, but when you talk about a guy that's been up and down in trouble, coming off his rookie deal, expecting to get paid big money, the big question is, can we trust this kid as an organization to do the right things? That if you can't trust him, you can't pay him.
What was better, Belichick's shirt that he had on at your ceremony or Belichick's speech?
His speech was fantastic, and it was really humbling to me that Coach, and I've heard him talk before, the level of respect that he had for me. He was just so complimentary, and it was just a pleasure playing with him, playing for him. A guy that just gave me a tremendous amount of freedom, let me play, didn't tell me to hold back, just let me have my normal personality on the field. So playing for Coach Belichick was an absolute honor, and I don't think you're going to meet too many ex-players that didn't enjoy their experience with Coach Belichick.
It was great. I was proud for you, and hopefully there's a bigger picture there with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or at least get consideration there. Rod, great to talk to you. Bringing it as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Anytime, brother.
That's Rodney Harrison.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.